Morning, everyone. Thanks to Emmett and the team for inviting me. It's genuinely a privilege to talk about people eating and drinking out. That's what I get to do on a daily basis, and that's what I'll be talking to you guys about is, how are people choosing what to do? Christian mentioned a little bit about social media, which we'll come on to, and that's what we're going to go through is, why are people choosing to drink what they drink, and how can we build better strategies to tap into that, really? It is probably a lot of pressure, and it is a tough time to be in this sector. Pubs, bars, restaurants, nightclubs, they've probably, overcame a lot of crises over the past few years. An economic crash, global pandemics, smoking bans, all those types of things. And the sector remains resilient. But looking at some of the headlines at the moment, you'd think that it's still quite a difficult time out there. I don't want to neg anyone out on a Tuesday morning, but you get stats like these, headlines like these. The sector's still hit by rising cost pressures. That means that consumers are feeling the pinch as well. Their discretionary spend is under pressure. Nobody forces anybody to eat or drink out. It's a go-to choice, so we need to give them a reason to come into our venues and spend money. That can be in the US, that can be in the UK, that can be in Germany. It's happening all over the world. This pinch is being felt. What's more, drinking isn't cool anymore. Germans are turning away from beer. In Gen Z, we hear a lot about it. They're sober curious. And I think if you think about the motivations behind a lot of consumers, they are really conscious and they want to be in control of how they are seen. If you think about social media, if you think about the likes of filters, if you think about how people really take a lot of care in how they portray themselves online, being drunk doesn't help with that. People don't want to be seen to be out of control. In fact, it's the opposite. They want to be seen to be in control. So we are seeing this sense of a sober, curious generation. We're seeing people turning away from alcohol, and we're seeing a little bit more curiosity around no and low alcohol spirits as well. And I'm sure as you walk around here over the next couple of days, you'll see a lot of that in evidence. What's more, people are increasingly, I spoke then about kind of being in control. What's more than that, people are now wearing devices to track every single thing about their body. They want to know their heart rate on an ongoing basis. They want to know how many steps they've done. They want to know their nutrients that they're consuming. That's probably going to extend to alcohol as well, and there may be some impacts of that which might impact the sector as well. What's more, we can't even hook up anymore. Like the bar it says here, it's the worst place to meet a potential partner. Not even a bad place, the worst place. So I don't know if anybody's seen that graphic that's doing the rounds recently around where people meet their partners. It used to be through introductions through family. It was then introductions through friends. It was then bars. That's the place where we met our partners. That's going down now. The rise of dating apps means that things are changing. So all of that is resulting in a lot of pressure. Outlets are closing. It's a tough time at the moment. But that said, there are reasons to be cheerful. When we look at the data, when we look at the cold hard facts, which is the data that we collect, actually, there are a lot of reasons to be positive. I'm not going to stand up here and talk about all the negatives because a lot of people do that. There's positivity to be had in our sector. 81% of people who run venues tell us that they're confident. So they're the people who know this sector better than anyone else. They tell us that they are optimistic about the next year of business for them. 68% of bartenders, the people who are in between our brands and our consumers, the people who know the industry best, they tell us that it's a sector in which they want to build careers. Now, not all of them know how to build careers, and I think there's jobs for us to do to help that, but they tell us that they want to do it. They wouldn't do that if there was if the sector really did face all of those headwinds. The consumer perspective, 61% of consumers tell us that that the sector plays a really important part of their lives. Half of the global population, these are all global figures by the way, half of the global population visit the sector at least weekly. That's actually up year on year. So all that stuff that I just said, more people are coming out more frequently. What's more, when they do come out, they'll pay more. They are actually valuing the experiences that we give them, and they're paying more for better quality of drink. And what's more, it's where we build brands. So we collect data in the off-trade, we collect data in the on-trade. When we look at the winning brands, the new brands that have launched over the past 3 years, in the UK, the best brands that have won, 82% of their sales occurred in the on-premise. Why do people come to the sector? Well, it's about connection. It's less about consumption, and it is more about connection. What I love about eating and drinking out is there is an occasion for everyone. It's where we go to celebrate. It's where we go to commiserate. It's where we go to relax. It's where we go to enjoy. It's where we go to celebrate. There is a drink and an occasion for every single need state and every single occasion. So if you think about that and you think about the fact that consumers are having to choose where to spend their money, we are in a good place. But why are they coming out? Well, we asked operators this question, the people who run bars, and they told us that more than value for money, which we know is important, more than even the quality of their food and their drinks, more than how the place looks, it's all about experience. And when I spoke about what are the motivations for consumers coming out to eat and drink, experience is the word. That sense of hospitality, people aren't buying products, they're buying experiences. They want to be served, they want to have great times, and they want to tell their mates about it. So this is some research that we recently did. A little quote there, where someone said, I absolutely love it, people want an experience, they want a story, they want to spend money on something that they can go and tell their friends about the next day. They probably won't want to be too drunk so they can remember what they want to talk to their friends about. But that's why places like Electric Shuffle, which is growing, expanding across the globe, the likes of Lucky Voice and karaoke, we've all seen it, big boom in karaoke recently. Albert Schloss, which is a UK operator, takes inspirations from the German beer halls, has drag queens, has really great shows, puts on a show for its customers, and people come back. That's what people are wanting. But they're also wanting to then share that on social media. Like I said, they want something to share with friends, be that the day after or in the day itself. And there is this sense of social currency. What are people spending money on? They want to upgrade their brand of self. I want to be seen to be having a good time. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to look for the place that will allow me to say, I'm in that place, I'm having a great time, look at me. 47% say that they do that. That jumps for younger consumers. Once they do that, they want to then recommend to then be seen to be the person, because 39% tell us that how they come across on social media is very important. Again, huge over-indexes for young consumers there. And what type of cocktails? Well, we asked bartenders, I think this is really interesting actually, and interesting, the illusionist gin that Christian mentioned. They want bold, vibrant, visual cocktails that look good on social media. So anything that we can do around that and anything that we can enhance that brand of self is really going to be important. This is what bartenders are telling us, by the way. Interesting, some of the secondary trends there, alcohol-free spirits, agave-based cocktails, cocktail pairings with food menus. We've seen some interesting trends around small kind of tasting cocktails. They're quite interesting. Can you get a flight of cocktails, almost like a tapas type thing? I think that's quite interesting. Retro cocktails, all of those things coming through. And I think this is really interesting. So Diageo just acquired Venturo. We spoke about bold, vibrant cocktails. Well, there you go. And what's really interesting, how are they launching it? 3 words to summarize everything that I just said: share the experience. That's how they are promoting their brands. And if that's the biggest brands that are doing that, then it's something that we can all learn. What else are Diageo doing? Well, think about that experience. This is one brand, 4 different brand houses. So be that the Johnny Walker experience in Edinburgh Princess Street. If you've not been, go. It's brilliant. Glenkinchie, they've got the other distilleries around Scotland. 1.1 million visitors go to those Scottish distilleries every year just for Diageo. And what are they doing when they're there? They're uploading social media. Diageo are building brand advocates who will then go on to talk to their friends about it, either virtually or in person. And I like the bottom left example. an AI experience. So that's coming through as well. If there's one brand that does it better than any other in terms of delivering experiences, I'd say it's Aperol. Everything that they do in the on-premise is centered around experience. Everything that they do is consistent, on-brand. Yes, there's a lot of investment that goes into this, but what they always do is rigidly stay consistent. If I blurred the logo, you probably can't see the logos, but if I blurred the logos, you'd all be able to recognize the brand. So therefore, what does that mean for consumers when they see it on social media? They recognize the brand. There's no coincidence that Aperol, as we saw from the data there, is one of the quickest growing spirits in the globe. And then we'll take any questions. So thank you.